And welcome back, everybody. My name is Eltimar, and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. We have just arrived in the Gilded Vale, which looks like a pretty nice little town. It's night time, obviously, and there's Afra's house. There's a bunch of places to go, actually. We're gonna head to... There's a smithy, that's kind of nice, but I really want to find the inn. That's mostly where I want to go first. Okay, so we're gonna go down to the inn. We'll watch to see if there's anyone around it. Ooh, there's someone there. Oh. Never mind, it's cutscene time. Oh, looks like there's some hangings going on. Well, actually, a lot of hangings. That's pretty morbid. That's a lot of dudes.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
Do you welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
What are you talking about?
An infant born without a soul, of course. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head ever so slightly towards the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here.
I'm gonna say I've been feeling strange since the close call with the Baowak. Is there someone in town who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all.
That's not true at all. But apparently they hung the Animancer, so that's not good.
But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
This guy is a huge douchebag. I don't do well with douchebags. You said something about a Hollowborn and Widewind's legacy before. He blinks. I forgot that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon Direwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful, dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his empty hands. In truth, no one knows, but they began spreading out after the Saint War. And so the name Widewind's legacy stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. I see. Before I got here, I saw several people conducting a strange ceremony near some ruins. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mentioned that trespassing on and within ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Bareth have mercy, we certainly have. I don't think so. Just as they finish, there's a Baowak. He polishes his spectacles on his sleeve. If you'd been that close to a Baowak, you wouldn't be standing here. But I am.
Keep out of...
Oh. The bell rang. That's good.
Listen.
I am listening.
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
What does that even mean? Oh my god, it's wildlings.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed.
Urgiet looks out to the east, his expression unreadable. He blinks slowly and turns his attention back to you.
3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
A peculiar spasm crosses his face, and the corner of his mouth quirks up in a mirthless smile. What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy has struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Barath must be redoubled. He sets a steady gaze on you. What happened? He shrugs one bony shoulder. I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps, but that is not your concern. Does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you get some rest. The inn, or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough. I'm not going to say don't threaten me, because I have a feeling that would go over very poorly in this town where they hang people for being different. Or, you know, they just hang people for whatever reason. Villagers. Been thinking about joining family over in Direford. They have it far better than us. So this place was sold as like this great place to go to, and everyone wants GTFO, so I'm not really sure that I want to be here, but I have no choice, because that is where we are. How do I get into the inn? Let's just go to the inn and be safe. Alright. Oh, this looks pleasing. These bones are covered in tiny bite marks. Oh, I guess they just lobbed their bones on the floors for dogs. That makes sense. So these look like mercenaries of some sort. Maybe they'll join my group because I need people. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. I'll reach for the soul. You see a long, empty road cutting through two large crop fields. The air is silent and the land seems too still for early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffing at the air, her nose held high. Her brow crinkles, and she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouthing a single word. Fire? She looks out across the field, her confusion turning to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes, and scans the fields again. Not finding what she was looking for, she jumps onto the horse's back, the fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face as she stares at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the rubble. And we'll step back. That is cool. Alright, as you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call to me. You see an emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him, expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands, limbs hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill drags into his skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dully. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only hard, black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the leg on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, the twitches growing into convulsive shakes. And we are going to step back away from that. That is grim stuff. This guy's Deslok Najatep. As you near, same thing, vibrant history, blah, blah, blah. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet, with no end in sight. And he is in his element. In the corner, three smaller men speak quickly, throwing malicious glances at the larger men in the center. He breaks a chair over the tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in three parts of the room, and with a terse nod they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all three slump to the ground in agony. That's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of unconscious and incapacitated, before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. Do I get to talk to these people now? No, I can't talk to them. Okay. Well, we know that they're there, and we know that they have stories. Is there more? Carissers, Krausers. Grab a drink, friend. Not much else of worth in this town, says the woman from Thane. Hey, we said we wouldn't mention Thane. I wonder what's wrong with Thane. Roaches scatter and flee under the crates. That's disturbing. Alright. What's over here? Is this someone's rooms? It's time to loot some rooms. 2 mechanics or 1 mechanic and 2 lockpicks. We can't do either one of those because we suck at lockpicking. So let's delete the desk instead. It has a diary and some more lockpicks that we can't use. We need a rogue. A rogue would be good. Or like a mechanic skill would probably have done well as well. In guest, I wonder. No, 2 mechanics, 3 lockpicks for that one, and a bookshelf. We're gonna steal your book. Can't stop me. I'm the protagonist. So what do the books have to say? I will do my best to read most of the things. So 10 years of dawn. That's kind of a long one. 10 years I've tilled the vorless leaf, and 10 years I've told myself that living in St. Waidwin's footsteps would bring me rebirth. Each dawn I'd pray that if thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee light, and each yet night would bring the same emptiness. For my decade of living is a simple dye farmer. All I have to show for it is a great deal of purple clothing. Aethys has not spoken to us since he appeared in St. Waidwin. It is my hope that Aethys would claim me as his next vessel, but alas, the child of light remains silent. Every day I practice the ritual of banishing the shadows of the unfaithful, and each day I work my fields in solitude, without sign of Aethys returning. If thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee light, but how long must I remain lost in this night of abandonment? Is this my punishment for keeping my faith a secret? Is Aethys hiding from me until I shout my reverence for all to hear? Surely, he must know that the Direwooddans now hate him and his followers. My countrymen are quick to blame all that is terrible about the Saints' War on those of us still faithful to Aethys. Should they not be angry at the Ridceris soldiers? Do the Direwooddans not realize to dismiss the god of rebirth and redemption is to prevent all hope of healing? As I pen these words, I know that I must continue continue to till the dye leaf. I will awaken each day with hope. If thou art darkness, he shall bring me light. Each day will pray the dawn stars visit me, just as they visited St. Waidwin in his field of Vorless. Will they come to me as they came to Sir Waidwin, as a man and 2 women, luminescent and perfect? I am told they come to presage new times. I am told many things, and I struggle to find faith to believe it all. And yet each morning the sun rises in the eastern sky, and each morning Aethys illuminates my simple plot of land, casting away the shadows of the unfaithful in his golden gaze. I thank thee, Aethys, for all the springs I've had, and all that will come. I am in darkness. Please bring me light. Sounds like a religious person, that's for sure. No other land has such a wild and bloody recent history, from colony to, Palatinate to Free Republic. The Direwood has undergone trial by fire to emerge as a powerful force of the Eastern Reach. Direwood's history actually begins in Adir, in 2602 AI. Adir explorers returned from a journey across the ocean with tales of the treasures they had found. They discovered countless ruins scattered through the forests, as well as plains to the north of the trees that would be perfect for growing Vorless. There was a problem, however. The locals were hostile, and there was potential for conflict. The Fair Koning of Adir, so it's pronounced Fair Koning, that's pretty close, the first king, knew that this was too good an opportunity to pass up and sent more explorers to scout and map the area. Exploration continued over the next 20 years. Small groups of explorers traveled back and forth between Adir, maybe it is, and this new world, with a handful of colonists setting up small camps to establish a base for the explorers to work out of. Conflicts with the locals, who the Adirans learned are called the Glenfaithans, were rare but frequent enough that for the Fyrkonig to send a small squadron of guards to help protect his citizens. These guards established a central base on a river in the western section of the woods. This settlement would eventually become the city of Direford, upon which the modern-day village of the same name is presently built. Once the base was established, the first permanent Adiran settlements began north and west of the Bale River. Over the next 3 years, thousands of Adirans made the journey from Adir to this new land. The Glenfaithans, who seemed to revere the ruins scattered through the forest, caused a few problems with some of the settlements, especially those founded near the ruins themselves. They were easily taken care of by the colonists and with the help of the Imperial Guard. The Adirans, in order to further their foothold in the area, reduced the cost of production in an attempt to keep the Glenfaithan population under control, starting to make slaves out of any Glenfaithans captured during the uprising. This resulted in a great increase in tension between the two groups. With the population of the era growing, an official government structure was established in the by the Fyrkoning. He appointed several earls to preside over the land and assigned them thanes to help run their territories. And they named the new Grefrim the Direwood. Direford remained the center of the Imperial Guard, but the settlement in Pearlwood Gulf, Dunrind, was the true seat of power for the area. Sitting at the edge of the ocean, forest, fertile farmland, and a river that runs from the coast to the White Marsh, settlers flocked to the area, hoping to establish names for themselves. Adir began to spread across the new land. Cool beans. That's some good lore right there. Alright, so let's go meet some people. Villagers, drunkard. Oh, there's some named people. Let's go talk to the named people. Oh, another soul looking. So it says Selena Vertivo. As you near, you feel history, yeah. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, herbs are scattered throughout her room. Haphazardly, she bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack one item after another, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen. Anyone heading out on high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Alright, and then Strom Brightblade. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. The man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. He hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking towards the boys, talking about the proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes from the tree line near the practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is a sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line. Running across the edge of the clearing, the boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he loses his last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer almost right behind his shoulder, piercing heart and lungs, dropping it to the dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few minutes and slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. So we have a ranger, we have some sort of healer, and we have some nameless people. Upstairs we had some monk, and yeah, hopefully some of them will join our group, if not all of them. Orland server. You just come into town? Kith like you seem to do alright. Well, that's good. I like that. That sounds like an excellent thing for me. More villagers, nameless people. That's that dude we saved. Let's go talk to Tenferith. We saved his life in the other area, so let's go see what he has to say. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Did we learn it? I will name a dish in your honor. Well, thank you. That's nice of you.
Welcome.
Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tenferith told us what you did for him. It is such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenferith said he wanted to whip you up something nice. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? I'd like to know more about the Black Hound. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for a few years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. Tenferith's the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables actually until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what's happened to him. Even left his poor hound behind. That's the name, see, the Black Hound. It's still sitting upstairs pining after him, poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow, she laughs. My very own inn, a lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by the way of a good meal today, she sighs, unless you're fond of cold porridge. Wait, but he's then there cooking. He can cook me something. I could use some reliable help. Do you know of anyone looking for work? Oh well, I can't say I speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. Let me see what I have to work with. Okay, so we can just buy a random level 1 adventurer, but I don't have any money, so I guess We're just gonna take a rest. I'm gonna rest in the common room. Screw it. I'm cheap. We're not gonna waste any money. Your sleep is restless, fevered, and assaulted by hisses and whispers. Blanketed with a suffocating anxiety, you open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like a moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm that she is truly dead. Alright, so we're gonna go, I guess. How long did we sleep? Everyone's still awake? Or did everyone already wake up and started drinking again? Because that sounds like a pretty good party, but maybe not very healthy. You probably shouldn't wake up and drink more. Although, unless you're chasing the hangover forever. That is a legit strategy. Let's go see if we can talk to the hound. This hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Sorry, girl, I don't think he's coming back. The dog whines softly, head tilting. Well, you can come with me. Maybe we'll find him on the way. The dog's ears perk up. It trots over to you and barks happily. Did we just steal a dog? I think we just stole a dog. I'm really not sure if that's what we're supposed to do, but maybe we'll find his corpse? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go see the dead body in the tree. That is a grim tree. Quick save time. Oh, we leveled up. Let's level up really quickly. So we got new skills. We could get a couple mechanic skills, but I have a feeling we're going to get a rogue or something that'll do that for us. I'd actually rather just keep doing athletics and lore and stuff. Maybe some survival? Or just lore. Yeah, let's do that. Athletics and lore, that sounds pretty good. Alright, we get a new paladin ability. So we get Lay on Hands, which is endurance healing. Zealous Focus, which is friendly aura, which gives +6 accuracy. Possibly. Zealous Charge is +2 movement speed, +15 defense when disengaging. And Zealous Endurance, which is +3 damage reduction. I think I'm going to go with the accuracy, actually. Zealous Focus sounds pretty good. And no new talents, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And let's quick save right here. And see what the corpse of the woman is. That is just super creepy. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Let's reach for the woman. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you've expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electrical surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down into some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind that you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you. Have you come here for me?
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think.
That
Yes?
is not super creepy at all. I think I survived a Baywhack. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing.
She appraises me with scholarly interest for a moment, before resuming her cheerful demeanor.
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there.
She nods.
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What is a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times.
Okay.
Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
What do you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whispers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Meerwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kanua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be.
You said souls break apart over time.
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
She clicks her tongue. I want to know something about you. Me?
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
That's not true. Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
And what happened to you exactly? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle, escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid.
Interesting.
It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
I knew it was Deerwood. I second-guessed myself. I shouldn't have done that. I had other questions. Actually, don't. That's it.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Alright, we're back in the real world. For those of you watching the videos,
17
as opposed...
and a half.
What? Okay, we'll talk to him in a minute. But for those of you watching the videos, this is going to be the end of this particular video. The live stream will be continuing onwards for another at least hour or so. So I'm going to end this video right here. This has been Eltimar, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below, and the next video should be uploaded shortly.